Well, welcome to the Meeple Syrup Show. We're here with your regular co-host, Ed Fong Lim, and myself, Daryl Andrews, and we have a special guest, Friedemann Friese. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
Some of you may recognize Friedemann, even if you haven't met him. He is well known for a certain pigment of hair.
Yeah.
And shirt, and so we made sure we found a green couch.
Yeah, great.
So
Good
that we could talk to him. Really, actually, that's one of the stipulations in his rider.
Yes, of course.
Only green couches, and we respect our guests.
Yes.
So it's really late at night, and so right off the bat, we apologize for whatever happens in this conversation, because who knows what might be said, because we might be too tired to even understand ourselves.
Oh, okay, great.
There's no filters.
But
concept.
what we like to do is ask designers, and Friedemann is a fantastic designer. We're going to ask him some questions about design, some tips for our viewers. Some are new designers, some are veteran designers, and we're going to ask you some tips on how you do. And first thing I want to do is I'm a little aware of a Friday design challenge you gave yourself.
Yes, I did.
Why don't you describe to our viewers that kind of constraint or challenge that you gave yourself, and maybe that can inspire other people to give themselves challenges.
Yeah, I made this one day I started this Friday challenge. Friday, because Friday starts with an F, everything I publish starts with an F, and I was just thinking of this limiting might be interesting to do so. I thought maybe I just go every Friday for working on a game, and it was just like, how much do it take? But the problem in German, 4 doesn't start with an F, so I have to take 5, so it took 5 years. So it took me 5 years to do so. I started, and every single Friday I made my blog there. Every time I worked, I write at the same time what I'm doing. It was very interesting for the limitation. First of all, it was kind of very interesting that I stop, and 1 week later I start again. It's just not used to, because if in flow you start whatever. On the other hand, it's just more. I'm not in the mood right now. Oh, it's Friday, so I go for it, and I was sitting there. What can you do? And then whatever. Kind of Google a Friday or Wikipedia Friday, so I start with putting in just this one word going on, and one day, 5 years blog, one day I went to Board Game Geek, typed on random game. Okay, I take 3 or 5 random games, look what's cool in there, and try to make one game out of it. It did not work. But see, whatever, in this time, the Black Friday game came out. The Friday game, solo deck building. The Copycat is part of the Friday game. And the Footer Night thing, the thing with the candies.
Oh yeah.
They all came out because of Fridays. Kind of good.
Yeah, it sounds like a great success. I found it especially interesting that you made sure to write it down. Write down your experiences. What do you think that does to design? Right? Like, do you think it's important for people to write things down, write notes down, or do they just freestyle and never write
it was
anything
kind of good to do so, but I think it was better for others to read, because I talked to people, and one guy I met one day was saying, you're absolutely explained everything you did. But from that moment to another, the game was there. I said, yes, it is always that way. You can, the moment of inspiration is impossible to find. It's just, you're there, fitting all things together, and on 1 second, boom, some new ideas in your head, and then you write it down. I said, but no, there is no in between. It's just this boom moment.
So, what is your regular design process if it isn't constrained by Fridays?
It's very difficult to say. It's just, by now, it's just, I'm working on a game here, playing a lot of times, and my 5-4 thing. Today,
we'll come back to that.
Yeah, of course we should. And then I worked on that the whole day, whole time here. I was just, and then I calmed me a bit down, did some shopping, went to dinner. I came back from dinner and was just like, oh, I have an idea. I made wrote down some cards, we played it immediately. It's kind of good. It's there. So I don't know. It's just
Any working title for this beginning nugget of an idea? No,
not really.
Does it
But
begin with an F?
the working titles are not beginning with an F. It's just working titles. But yeah, in the second step, they're all beginning with an F. It's just not that important. It is. What's important is the design process can start as a mechanism.
Yep.
You're thinking of, oh, I want to make a
Sure.
or I want to make a share stock game, or whatever game you want.
Yep.
Or you have a really cool theme and you think, hey, this must be a game.
Yes.
For a theme, for me, it is important if I find a theme and in that moment I see a mechanic that fits the theme.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever the moving monster in Fist Floors, the landlord stuff where you kill each other off stuff with houses, or the Power Grid thing where, yeah, it was just Power Grid started as like, I like Empire Builder, I like Dark Frost, all these crayon rail building stuff I like, but why I always have to build railroads?
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of a genre thing, not really a mechanic.
Yeah.
It was kind of why crayon things always have to be rails.
Yeah.
In this days it was kind of. By now there are more than other crayon things, and then it came up power lines, great power lines, and boom, boom, boom. Yeah? It was just like collect power lines, and you have power plants, you need resources, and so on and so on and so on. And I don't know, out of a sudden somewhere, I don't know where it came from, this great idea with the actual future market with power plants. And almost everything else was built around that. And it fit, because yeah, it's just drawing power lines, and the first Funkschlag is drawing power lines on the board. And in the Power Grid later, it was dragged out because it was so many people disliking that stuff. It came from there.
Right, and so the theme informed the mechanics, and the
Yes.
mechanics informed the theme.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a chicken and egg kind of thing. Do you know what I'm saying?
I know.
Okay, I never know what.
I don't understand that. I do understand that stuff.
Okay, good.
So we gotta talk about 504. I've had the pleasure of playing it multiple times.
Yeah.
I love it. So a part of me hates you because I think to myself, why didn't I think of this? And then as you shared, I think it was Rob DeVoe's response that he first said. You say it. It was better actually.
It's about that's just that. Oh my gosh, why didn't know how to think the idea like that? And in the other one you say, oh, how much work is that? Yeah, it was like.
I was like, no, actually, I don't hate you.
Yeah, it's kind of.
Yeah.
I worked 3.5 years on that.
Yes, and it shows. I mean, the fact that you have played so many scenarios, you are testing everything. And I mean, here you are testing, getting everyone's feedback. You're instantly, iterations, little word tweaks, little changes to make sure that every version is a great experience. You want every combination to be wonderful. And I think that is such a high standard, which I love.
Oh yeah, it's very ambitious.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
So tell us a little bit about that project. For anyone who doesn't know about it.
504 is 504 different games in one box, created by modular game building. You have 9 different modules. You take 3 out of 9 and bring them in order, and then you have 504 different games. I was always thinking, since when, I don't know, about the possibility of modular thinking, of adding things to games which change the games brutally, totally, whatever. Even in one of my former games, I still have some cards in where you put these cards in, the game completely changed to something different, and not even a variation, so the game feels different. Not many people in the US or Canadians have seen Stichmeister, which is from Amigo, where I did the same thing to trick taking games. Everyone has rules for trick taking games, and everyone puts one down, and these combine together to a new rule for trick taking games. And there are a bunch of different combinations in there. Plays very differently, and it was my take on that. I was always trying to do it. Copycat is a thing that was the same. I took these Agricola, Dominion through the ages mechanics and throw them together to one game.
Sure.
And so by now I do have this machine, this game machine creating games.
Yes.
And it's very cool because it's very unexpected. Expect the unexpected. Kind of that, because you drag out the thing. I do the same, and I have a new game on the table. Say, wow, this is interesting. I have to find out how to play it. I have to find out the strategy. Even and the thing is, oh, I designed it. Yeah, I designed the modules, but I not designed that game especially. It's very strange for me. It's just I have a game that it's designed by itself, kind of.
Right.
It's like robots building robots.
Yeah. It's kind of very weird.
It is kind of weird.
Yeah, but on the other hand, I was always there's these in these interviews. There is this comic guy making who made this comic book, How to Understand Comic Books.
Yes.
Yeah, and I have this, and it was always great. It was just, hey, you use this genre to describe the genre. I said, somebody must do it with games.
It's Scott McCloud, right?
Scott McCloud.
Yeah,
Scott McCloud has 3 books, but the first one is this big inspiring thing because they're comics, and they even comics in the comics that show you how comics work. And it was just like, oh, I need games that explain how games work.
Right.
Okay, 5.4 is not really a teaching tool anymore because it creates just games that you can play. But if you just rip it off and look at the 27 different rule sets that are in, because every 9 module creates 3 different rule sets because of the order you can have. So then you see, okay, this edit alone, standing alone, it makes this, and if you match them all together, you get something. And it makes clear that you get always, when you make games, every author should be aware, the sum is more than the whole is more than the sum of the parts.
There's that synergy.
Yes, the synergy stuff. And a lot of authors starting with game design have the feeling that if they put something together and get the synergy effect things, that they have done that, and they're very proud of it. Of course they did it, because without them it would not be there, but you really have to be aware that this is a kind of gift you get from combining things. And there's something in there. And then a lot of authors say, I'm the greatest author in the world, I created something like that, when something happens like this. And it says, yeah, it is in, but you have to focus on that and you have to work on that. It's not, because you put things together, it's not great as it is, but go ahead, work on. Yeah? And this is what I do. With these combinations, I get, 3 years ago I already got good combinations. And good things happen. Yeah? But by now, I get not only the synergy, I get great games because it works on and on and on.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time. We're going to give you one last question that we always ask our guests. We don't want to hold you up much longer. It's so late at night. You're giving great information for our viewers. One thing that we often ask our guests, because we have a lot of not only veteran designers but also new designers, and you already are starting to point some of these things out, but what is some advice that you would give to new designers about making games?
Oh, this is very difficult because I was asked many times of that and I always had an answer, but by now it's like, no, it's just, I think the most important part is know your game. Know what's your game about. Go in every corner of the game. Go for the experience on every game. And the very, very important other thing is, do not only show it to your friends. Because give it away to somebody really honest. He's not kind of whatever emotionally bounded to you. Can be honest, because your friends will always say, great that you make games, it's cool that you make games, and it will be fine, but you will not get really responses. Go to gamers meetings, go whatever, send it to a gaming group without being involved and get comments back, because you need the negative stuff also. It is hard to get it, but somebody has to say, oh no, in this position it does not work. And you should hear on that. And do not say, but my friends like it. Yeah, and your friends like you.
Great advice.
Good advice.
Yeah.
Thanks so much,
Welcome.
Friedemann.
Yeah, thank you.
And we'll see you soon.
Oh, of course.
In a year, if not sooner.
In a year, I'll be here.
Awesome.